good morning, good afternoon. This is the Experts About Nothing podcast. We had a special guest here today, potentially a new person on the show. We got our guy Brent, but we got me, Wesley, Byron, and Durante.
What's good?
Let's get into
What's up, fellas? Glad to be here. Y'all have me jumping at my desk at work listening to the podcast. I be wanting to jump at Byron. I be wanting to jump at Durante. Sometimes Wesley's a voice for reason. Sometimes I can almost see him be like, I can't with these two. So glad to be here.
Wow, that's what's up.
Oh yeah, you listen to me being right all the time.
about that. But anyway, we're gonna pick things up real quick. We're gonna go ahead on and have a little bit of a health talk real quick about this coronavirus situation. I want everybody to know that the coronavirus itself has actually been a thing for a long time. Everybody's gotten the coronavirus. It's actually caused of the common cold, amongst other things, as well as the flu. So really, I want everybody to know that the coronavirus that's in China is different. It has a different name. It has a different everything. And that's what everybody needs to know, and not just worry about the coronavirus, because everybody's had that. It actually has a different name, as I stated before. It's the COVID-19 version of the coronavirus, so it's totally different. They just named it a few days ago. And currently, that particular virus has killed 447 people in 24 countries and 1,336 people in China. Now, what that really says is this: wash your hands. That's all you got to do. Wash your hands. Stop sneezing on people. You might be okay.
Thanks.
Right.
If you touch a surface and you think somebody they ain't washed their hands and touched it, get some hand sanitizer. Get your little bottle, carry it with you. You'll be all right. But in all seriousness, and also if you going to China, well, you might want to rethink that just for a little while, because, I mean, they wear masks, but people still getting it. So they normally wear the mask when they think they're sick to, protect other people, but it ain't really working out, as you guys hear with these 46,550 confirmed cases in China. So, I mean, you guys think about that. That's a lot of people in China, but at the same time, the flu get more people every year. So just wash your hands. That'll keep you from getting a lot of these sicknesses until they go airborne. Now, if they go airborne, you're going to have a situation. Because, I mean, another, problem with the coronavirus that appeared a little while back was SARS. That was a coronavirus, as well as a few other things. So just really get some hand sanitizer, wash your hands. But now we're actually going to go ahead on and dive into the show with our NBA topics of the day. And our first thing we're going to talk about is this dunk contest that we had last night. A few of us here feel like Arron Gordon got robbed, and some folks don't feel like that and feel like everything was just. So we're going to hand it on over to the person that feels like it's just here first. Brent, go ahead on, take it away.
Well, I don't know if I'd say everything is just, but I would say it sort of worked out. So the dunk contest last night was won by Derrick Jones Jr.
On his birthday.
Airplane was clear for takeoff. For everyone to know, full disclosure, I am a big Heat fan. I'm wearing my Vice Night shirt to do the podcast. That's the initial thing. But as a basketball fan first, and I'm always at first, I'm a realist. There were a couple things with the dunks that he did that made me feel like he won over Arron Gordon. Don't get me wrong. It was a dunk contest for the ages. And Arron Gordon brought his A game, and so did DJ. But to me, the thing that set it off, so there's two things in the final one. Now, I don't know if you penalize him for the first missed dunk because it was going to be fire, right?
Yeah.
But he did the dunk, and DJ did the same dunk. But to me, the deciding factor was when he did it, it was like a simple windmill. He still swung it. Now, obviously, he can do what I can't. But it was a simple windmill. DJ went between the legs. When he did that picking the ball up off of a standing person, he brought the ball between his legs. It's a lot more difficult to bring the ball between your legs and finish with a different hand than it is to swing a windmill and then finish with a different hand. And so to me, I could see it, the final two dunks between the two of them being the deciding factor. Now the scoring, that's a little bit different. I almost feel like they could have went for another round. And Wesley had kind of pitched to me last night, co-dunk champs. Now I don't know if they could do that. I don't know if they had enough trophies to do that, and maybe that would have affected the competition because it'd be the first time I did the research last night. I went back and looked as far back as I can go. They've never had co-dunk champions.
That's true.
They've always had just one. So I don't know if they would just keep dunking off or what the case would have been there. But to me, the in between the legs, those different moves to me differentiated enough that I was like, okay, DJ got it. I don't know about the scoring though.
I think Silva said if they tied again, that the judges would have to have decided, had to pick the person. So the judges would have had to have decided who was going to win, which is why I think they gave the scores how they gave it, so that they could just get it over with and not have to do that. Mm-hmm. From what I understood, listening to what was going on while it was happening, because apparently D Wade had walked off and then was forced to come back and actually give a score. Supposedly, that's what he said. I saw him put the stuff back on. I think he was putting stuff back on or taking stuff back off. I can't remember, but when he was standing, he was doing something. But they should have worked it out, and I really do think had I think co-dunk champions. I mean, hey, they could have just done something new. And what's wrong with doing something new in the moment when you got something that great going on? But my fellas here for Arron Gordon, let's hear from y'all.
Bruh, y'all put me to sleep. That man got straight robbed, man. It was a robbery. It's like Menace to Society, like the old dog tape. You know what I'm saying? Him and Kane shot up the joint, robbed the people. Like, man, that shit was a robbery, bro. That shit was a robbery. A corner store robbery. Like the sicko always
was they not both yamming, though?
Yeah, it was yamming. But damn, Derek did the same dunk like 6 times. Between the leg dunk like three times.
Wait, hold on.
He went between the legs like 4 different times.
That's fair, but Arron Gordon,
I'm sitting there like, yo.
Arron Gordon did the same windmill 3 times. I mean, we can't argue that they did the same. They both did the same dunk 3 times.
Not really.
They went with what they were comfortable with, but at the same time, they were all fire, and they were at different varieties. Yeah. Let's be honest.
But my man took it between the legs like at least 3-4 times, man.
That's a degree of difficulty, is it not?
He jumped from the free throw. Well, 1 foot past the free throw line.
But I ain't trying to keep saying the same fucking dunk, man.
Okay. I agree with that.
I do agree with that, but
Gordon switched his joint up. This shit was more.
They both switched it up. It was not just the same.
I will say,
yeah, the free throw, the jump.
Arron got robbed. I will say they did switch it up.
He didn't jump from the free throw line. If he would jump from the free throw line, he would clearly won that. It was a step inside.
He was a step inside.
A whole foot inside.
But here's the thing: he got penalized for that, though, didn't he? Yes,
and
he won the slam dunk contest.
But he got the score.
He didn't get a 50 on that.
You're right.
There's no way you telling me that Gordon, that dunk Jones did was better than the dunk that Arron Gordon did. There's no way you can tell me.
No, not 1 for 1, but the body of work to me.
The body of work, Gordon has it.
Arron Gordon, he got 50s across the board until the very end. That is a fact. But at the same time, they both were putting in work and doing unique dunks, and overall just put on a great. And you guys gotta agree, this is one of the best dunk contests we've had in quite a while.
In 3 years.
And I mean, no real crazy gimmicks. I mean,
you saying
just
3, or you going
Zach
back
LaVine and Arron Gordon was the last great one we had.
Yeah, that was,
which also,
yeah, I mean, but that's the one I think he absolutely got robbed on.
Yeah, that's the one he absolutely got robbed on. This one,
I mean,
I'm saying he got robbed.
I think it's complete bias because D-Wade gave him a 9.
I was going to say #conspiracy, and that's a Heat fan saying that.
That was the greatest Heat player, given the current Heat player.
Absolutely.
The edge.
I agree.
Okay.
That's me. I mean,
I agree.
Whatever.
He would got.
I don't disagree with that. D Wade was talking him up the whole time throughout the whole show.
Exactly.
He was the one that said, "Oh, it's fit to be air." What does he say? Airplane mode fit to take off.
Yeah, airplane mode activated. Y'all
though. I mean, he got bunnies.
Now, if Gordon would have did like a reverse dunk on that one when he jumped over fall, then okay.
Yes.
He would clearly get it.
Yes.
He had to do something.
I'm gonna be honest.
I think
better. Taco was too tall for him to come up there and do a reverse dunk on my man.
He jumped over him, though.
Yeah.
He didn't even get that much of a running start.
Right.
He needed a better running start because he really could have gotten higher and cleared him better.
Yeah.
Now, I think Taco was a little scared, and so it really made it look worse anyway.
Because nobody ever jumped over.
Taco went from 7'5" to like 7'1".
Because Taco kind of leaned forward and moved his hands. And so that made it look worse anyway because he moved his body and so he moved his body. So Arron Gordon, you know, the way he was coming down, it looks like he hit him regardless.
Yep.
But I really do think if Taco would have just stood more resolute, then there's potential of the dunk actually looking better than it did.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think it should have been a co-championship.
And I'm gonna tell you this too: if Arron Gordon had taken off from the hash mark, so from just where the timeline is, oh my God, not only would he clear him because he got the hops. He got the hops. Good God, you imagine the power that would have come from that kind of a run. Ooh. Yeah. So then I wouldn't have no legs to stand on. Then if they had did it, it would have been straight.
At the end of the day, Arron Gordon is going to be Dominique Wilkins in this situation, and he's just going to be stuck.
In this situation, at least Dominique won one.
Yeah, Arron Gordon said he done. So I
don't.
Two. He wants a 3-point contest now.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He said, "I'm just going to head on to the 3-point contest." This is a quote from Arron Gordon. He literally said,
I think he was just doing that just to be like, "I'm gonna see,"
Yeah. I know that's what he said.
Try to shoot some threes.
Right.
I'm gonna try to shoot some threes. Like it was a shot at Levine. That's what it was.
Shot because Zach LaVine was shooting threes.
You know what? No,
that's what he's saying. That's what I mean.
That's what he said.
I'm gonna go ahead on to the 3-point contest. I'm gonna go get robbed there then.
Yeah.
Because Zach went to the 3-point contest with dunking.
That was smooth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Some people ain't catch that. Obviously, you didn't. You know what I'm saying? Just throwing it out.
Ain't like Zach LaVine Zach ain't score any top 3, so you know what I mean.
He didn't. But I think that's kind of sort of what he was
Zach
going with.
LaVine missed dunk contest last year. I think he could have been in the dunk contest, but he was like, "No, I'm good." And then he went to the 3-point contest because I think they asked him did he want to be in the dunk contest this year, but he was like, "I'm already doing the 3-point contest." So that's why Arron was like, "I'm gonna just go ahead and go shoot threes now since I want to run from smoke." That's kind of what he's saying. If you're not picking that up either.
Well, the sad part about it is the smoke that they running from, and neither team is doing all that hot. So that's the worst part. Your hype thing is the All-Star game. It's just
that's their best thing because ain't neither one's team making no noise, so they just need to get to.
You can tell they bums was kissing the trophy and shit like they ain't never been there before.
Right, right.
Hey, Johnson, that kissing the trophy like this is it for him.
He was hyped, but I don't know if it's gonna be. That's actually what we're gonna get to talking about next, so we'll go ahead on and get into it. After the break, what squads do we think are going to actually, to either continue or start to take off? So let's get into it.
I got the Clippers, man. I think they're gonna come together, man.
Okay.
Not Portland though, but just the Clippers.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead on from the Portland shot real quick. We're going to go to the Heat fan in the room real quick.
All right, so
get his take.
I don't know why he throwing shots at me.
Who said I was talking to you?
But, the people know that listen to this.
All right, well, you only
a Portland fan.
Well, since Dame ain't playing right now, you're not a Portland fan right now. We'll talk about that when he comes back.
I'm a Damian fan regardless.
Yeah, but he ain't playing.
He rapping, so he good.
All right, go buy a single. Okay. Come on with it.
Okay, no. Here it is. So this is a realist. So in the East, it's a hard thing for me because I feel like Miami's played okay in the first half of the season. I don't think they're the real team yet. They're missing a piece or something. Yeah. They're the 4th seed right now, but they can't seem to beat Boston. They don't have the size to beat Milwaukee. Bam's good. Don't get me wrong. Bam's good. Bam not beating the Greek Freak. Okay, he just not. Okay, so the question for me is, do I think that Milwaukee has the pieces to get over the hiccups they had last year? Because to be honest, they really should have beat Toronto. Do they have the ability to do that, or is this going to be a situation where we're looking at Boston or Toronto? To me, I'm leaning towards Milwaukee. I think Giannis maybe last year was a learning experience for the first time them going as deep as they got. I think they're going to come out the East.
Definitely a learning experience, but Toronto is on a little bit of a mini tear right now. They won like 15, 16 games in a row. Do we think they're going to continue their winning ways, or we think they're gonna fall off?
Well, I got a question. I
want Pascal Siakam is.
I got a question. Yes, but to me, and I thought about him today before I came. To me, he's a lot like some sort of weird mashup between Tayshaun Prince and like Luol Deng. Like he's like a utility. Like he can do everything, right? But I don't know. And then this is like year 3 for him. I don't know if he's got enough together on the resume for me to say he is the star of the team. Granted, this year he obviously is because there's no Kawhi. He's not standing in the shadow of somebody. But do I think that he's got the trajectory to? Because he would have to be it. Because Kyle Lowry is not. He's scoring 20, 30 when he got to, but Kyle Lowry is not. He's not a world beater. He's too small. So
that's a fact.
So that's who you basically hitching your ride to. You saying, can he take the franchise when the moments get tight? Is he going to be the one to be able to deliver them? Because that was Kawhi last year, right?
I mean, it's gonna need to be team ball, and really, if you think about it, last year it was team ball. That really.
I think y'all just complicating shit way too much.
Okay, come on with it. What you got?
One West team, so you can just factor out the West. If they can, they can
Wait,
get
what?
past one West team, like that's in the finals, right?
Okay,
right,
yeah.
They
fair.
only face the West.
Right, fair.
Okay.
I'm
No,
breaking it down for y'all.
I got you.
Y'all
I got you.
Y'all clearly
Get to the point.
So don't be
Okay.
getting
We talking about the East
Gotcha.
right now.
All right.
Come on.
I'm talking about winning the whole thing.
All right.
Okay.
That's what we talking about championships.
Okay.
So in the East, I think the Bucks are the lead runners.
Right.
Okay.
But 34 gonna get his.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is gonna show up? Milton? I don't know. Last year he didn't do his thing.
Okay.
He didn't do his thing. So
I don't disagree with that.
Toronto getting past them. I can see Toronto getting past them.
Okay.
Easily.
Okay.
Getting past them.
Okay. Then let me ask you this: if they get by them, okay, and you said you got the Clips coming out the West, right?
Yeah.
But let's say it's Clips or Lakers. Do you think
Yeah,
Toronto?
but I didn't say Clips was coming out the way. I said it was a team that's going to
Oh,
peak.
okay. All right.
Okay.
Fair. All right.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay. Okay. Do you think the Toronto's got with any of the teams that come out the West? Do they have the tools with let's say the top 3 teams out the West right now? Do they have the tools to beat them? Toronto. In a 7-game series.
Yeah, because they've been there.
Without their Finals MVP and the best defensive player they've had in the history of the team, and probably the best player they've had in the history of the team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Siakam is gonna be the guy. Fred VanVleet gonna follow up. Kyle gonna do his thing. Like I said, the thing about that squad.
Don't hate on him. I like VanVleet.
Well, I mean, it's his wife pregnant
Yeah,
again?
without those role players hitting those shots,
You
they didn't win the
terrible.
series
Hey, boy,
last year.
his wife. Never mind.
I agree with
we won't
that.
It wasn't all Kawhi, you know what I'm saying, last year.
No, like I said, it was team ball.
It was team ball.
It was team
It
ball.
was 100% team ball, but in certain situations, the highlight was on Kawhi.
Yeah.
Kawhi made the shot on the 76ers that was the luckiest shot on the planet, but whatever. It went in, which is the whole point.
Right.
So, but what about? Are we forgetting about Boston? We just not gonna say anything about Boston.
Well, I mentioned them, but
I was gonna say
Here's the thing.
they can
Kimba-
peak.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying they can peak.
They compete.
They got the tools to do it. I feel like if you go back to Milwaukee, they just got Giannis. Like he's saying, who else gonna show up? If just so happen Boston gets past everybody and somehow it works out that Milwaukee and Boston in the finals, I feel like if you just shut down Giannis, because you can, who else gonna show up?
My man over there
You got
taking
over
notes.
here. You got over here Kimba, Tatum, who can go off. You can do Gordon Hayward. So like you got. I'm just saying you got weapons.
Okay.
I'm not saying going about the. I'm just saying they got more weapons than I feel like Milwaukee do.
I think Gordon Hayward
But that's just one team.
But those young. Oh, go ahead.
I just think he just was. He had a bad break last year, so obviously.
Yeah.
And then just Kawhi. I mean, not Kawhi, but
Kimba.
No, Kyrie doing whatever he had going on.
Yeah.
I think that was just a bad break for that squad. But I think that they might potentially be okay this season.
Yeah, but that team was better without Kyrie anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Him not being there is a good thing for the squad.
Absolutely.
But I'm curious to see Kimba make a run in those playoffs. He's never been there.
Yeah, well,
So
why has he not been
So
there?
that's
though,
an
you know what I'm
advantage.
saying?
Advantage for
But
the team they're playing
I
against.
feel like
That's
Kimba can
true.
do it. I mean, he's been in situations like
he's
that
been
before.
poised
Shoot
and
last
watching.
shots and stuff. I mean, if you go back to his college days, but I'm just
You
saying,
gotta
I
go
feel
back
like
to
he can. I feel like he still can do that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like he still can. We just haven't been able to see because he's in Charlotte. You don't get to see.
I watch
him.
the games. I
But
see
I'm
him.
just saying.
Well,
all right, I'm
I mean-
talking to the people out here. You don't get to see him. Now you do. You like, oh, Kimba nice. He really is. Because some people sit there
Been
like,
nice, though.
Right.
but
NBA
some people
League
don't
Pass.
get that though.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
And I mean that's why LeBron was after him so much. I mean
Yeah.
because to me Kimba is more of a he can score right, but he's more of a he can lean more towards being a true point guard, and that's what he didn't have with Kyrie. Yeah. Kyrie was a 2 guard from the jump. Like I mean, I just remember them having that conversation at the post game where they're talking about assists. How many assists you got, Kyrie? Yeah. Like, and I think LeBron wants people who are high IQ, know when it's appropriate to pass the ball. I mean, if he trusts you to do what's in the moment. That's why he had the shot in the 2016 NBA Finals. I mean, he gave him the ball and told him to do his thing. But Kimba is nice. So I mean, if Boston can keep where they are, and I already said, I mean, my team, the Heat, it doesn't seem like they can beat the top tier teams. Like they get in the game and they can stay with them, and then in the fourth quarter it's like something happens. I don't know if they ride Jimmy for 3 quarters and Jimmy's tired in the fourth quarter, he come out, they get hurt. But like the last couple games I've watched where we've been competing, like against the Clippers were up, we came back and we had them down by like 5. All of a sudden Kawhi flipped the switch. Jimmy came out the game. And they took that 5-point lead and they turned around and it was like a 10-point deficit. And it just seems like the Heat, maybe they're one piece short. Like
well, Jimmy said, he trying to get Joel Embiid down there.
I don't know that Joel's the answer. I would love to have another
Joel
All-Star.
Embiid is not the answer.
But I don't know that he's the answer.
Oh, but they got these guys superhero Iggy. Well, y'all superhero Iggy.
Well, what?
Okay, you want to talk about it? We can talk about it. I mean, let's be honest.
He could be that piece you're missing.
No,
maybe they
what?
Draymond.
No.
Why we gotta talk about?
Well, what Iggy?
Why we gotta talk about old stuff?
No, well, what Iggy brings
today.
Today.
What
My
Iggy?
man talking, my man talking.
What Iggy brings to me anyway is a Finals MVP mindset,
Yes.
right? So I know Byron is fond of saying, and when I need you, I need you, right?
Yeah.
But mentally, Jimmy Butler, besides playing with Dwayne Wade for the one season they were together, Jimmy Butler's never had a player that he could say, I know what it takes to get that hardware you want. And not only do I know what it takes, I've been there more times than you can count. Now, is that going to get Jimmy where he's got to be? Not by itself. But if this is a multi-year plan, and again, we're stretching here, right? Because I don't think they're ready this year. Yeah. If they could find another piece to put with Jimmy to take some of the pressure off him, like they wanted to get Chris Paul originally. I know y'all talked about last week Chris Paul and what he's done with the Thunder. Mm-hmm. If the Heat had somehow managed not to trade away their new pieces that they got, because those are turning out to be pretty good investments they made. Yeah. If they could have kept those and brought in Chris Paul into the fold, you telling me the Heat wouldn't be the second best team in the East? I do believe that they would be, because Chris Paul would make everybody, including Jimmy, better, and he would have accountability to say, "Hey, Jimmy," when Jimmy gets because sometimes Jimmy like to fade.
Yeah, but Jimmy been there though. Jimmy don't fade. His offense fades.
Well, that's what I mean.
His defense is always there.
Fair enough.
Jimmy would have probably been in the finals if it wasn't for LeBron. With the Bulls.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
He would have been there, so he can get there. If it wasn't for LeBron, he would have been there. But I think this is year to do his thing on his own.
Right.
See how far he can go on his own.
Fair enough.
So we'll see. But I got to go with experience, and that's Toronto. They're a better team.
I give you that.
I like teams, so
I give you that. You attack Iggy. I just said that's why you would bring Iggy in. You want him for the mindset. You're not bringing him in because he's going to be an all-star. You know he's not. He's past that. But what you want is the mindset. You want the heart, because that vet heart, right? Because that's sort of. I mean, I know Dwayne Wade was still back in his prime, but that's sort of what the LeBron thing was. It wasn't. They knew they had to transition the team to be LeBron's because Dwayne couldn't do it. But the problem was
it was still Dwayne Wade's team. By the way.
It always it's Miami-Dade County forever. But but he needed, and that's what LeBron. Like
you said, it was LeBron team, right?
They transitioned it to, and I want to make this point.
Okay.
And here's why.
That's not
no. Well, here's why. And this is why. And I told you before why I respect LeBron, but I'm not a LeBron fan because I always go back to the 2011 NBA Finals. In that series, and they don't talk about it a lot, Dwayne Wade was averaging 30 points a game in that series. So now, LeBron, up to that point in the playoffs, had been balling. Lights out. LeBron had a problem getting to the finals. He had been to the finals, but he had never had help when he got to the finals. Well, now LeBron got help. He got help. My man said, because Dwayne, his problem was he never had help either. He can get in the playoffs and he could drop 40, 50 on you if he needed to. He just never had the help besides the bits and pieces of Shaq that were left.
Whoa, that was double teaming Shaq in the post.
Pause. Dallas did not double team Shaq. They were one up in him because they were double teaming Dwayne on the outside. They knew they couldn't let him get to 15 feet. He got to 15 feet. He was sinking them jump shots in their face all the time. So what did they do? They doubled up on him. They tried to keep him out because he didn't have a 3-point shot.
So they didn't double Shaq in one time.
They might have doubled him once or twice, but Shaq, I'm going to tell you, Shaq spent all his energy in that Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. He went 21 points in the first half. Shaq hadn't scored 21 points in the first half since he wore a Lakers uniform. He never did that in the Heat uniform until that night. And then that same night when he scored 21, White Chocolate came in. Jason Williams said, "This is my only shot at winning the ring," and he put up like 20 in the first half because Dwayne wasn't playing hot that game. And then they got him to the fourth quarter. They hung around. They were punching Detroit. Fourth quarter came and they said, "All right, D Wade, take us home." And Dwayne had enough to get him 16 in the fourth, and he brought them home. That was the last time in my mind, up until the Phoenix experiment, that we saw Shaq actually be like Shaq we remember. The rest of the time in Miami, Shaq was never Shaq. They might have doubled Shaq for the sake of doubling him, but they really didn't because they wanted to keep Wade out of the paint, and they didn't. They knew if they got him to 15, he was money on the jump shot. They know he didn't have a 3. Now that came on later in his career, but they knew at the time we keep him to 23 feet. Dwayne Wade can't do nothing if we keep him out. And Mark Cuban makes conversation about this because he said Miami Heat, their offense has always been the same offense that they ran with LeBron. They were there. That's how the Dallas Mavericks beat them the second time. They ran the same offense with Shaq. It was different because they had a post presence they can dump the ball into, and so it was like old school 90s. We can dump inside, but the game has started to transition. Shaq wasn't as dominant as he used to be.
Still was Eric Spoelstra's team,
and so I think that So I go to 2011. I said, Dwayne's averaging 30, and if LeBron had showed up for 2 of those games, I want you to think about the same series. Chris Bosh, who had never played in any game bigger than like a first round game. No, LeBron had been in the finals. Got swept, but they'd been in the finals. Chris Bosh in that series hit a game-winning shot in the NBA Finals. LeBron, give me one moment in that series where you thought LeBron did something that stood out to you. You can't. He had one highlight reel dunk that Wade threw him a lob on, and they celebrated. The other thing I remember is them making fun of Dirk Nowitzki for being sick. And then I think karma got them, and they lost the finals because LeBron folded up like a cheap chair. And they say, and I don't buy into this, but the conspiracy theory is that some of it was that LeBron saw that Wade was on track to be MVP, and so he tanked. I don't believe that. There's a part of me that's like LeBron's too great of a player to really care about this sort of thing. But that there are murmurs of that. I'm saying the man was averaging 30. All LeBron had to give him was like 20. If LeBron could get scored, average 5 more points in that series, they win that series. And you telling me Jason Kidd and Sean Marion are stopping the greatest, the greatest? And I'm saying this.
JJ Barrett was on it too.
Undersized, and that's why LeBron, JJ Barea. And listen, you telling me that those 3 are stopping arguably the most unstoppable physical specimen we've seen play basketball this side of Wilt Chamberlain and goaltending.
I think he was just in his head trying to shoot jumpers, bro. Because he shot a lot of jumpers. I don't think Wade was averaging 30 in those finals, though.
I'm going to get you the numbers.
So if you're wrong, then what?
Well, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I feel like he was averaging...
Okay.
I mean, this
LeBron had like 17
points. When you're
points.
wrong, it makes his head bigger. He's like Majin Buu. The more you fight,
LeBron had 17.
He just gets stronger. Yeah.
I don't think Wade had 30 a game. Wade might have had 19, 20. He didn't have 30. Maybe for the whole playoffs, possibly, but he didn't have 30. Wade would have had 30, they would have won that.
Well, I don't know the numbers. That's my Heat fan over there. Yeah. He got the stats, so I'm going to actually believe his stats. But he going to get them for you.
Listen.
But while he's doing that, since you said you who you got coming out the West? Since you said the Clippers are going to peak.
Of course the Lakers.
The Lakers, okay.
Of course the Lakers. But I got the Clippers coming up and doing their thing, though.
They're coming up and doing their thing. So
Paul George's going to get it together. Kawhi going to get it together. I believe in those guys.
Kawhi going to play all the games?
Yeah, they're just resting right now. I mean, they don't really care about the seeding, man. It's going to be them or the Lakers, and I think the Lakers are edging.
They should probably care about the seed. I'm
Not
just
really.
saying. No,
teams like that, who they got to face?
Look, I'm just saying. I would care about the seed. I ain't trying to just. You trying to go? You trying to go against the Lakers?
4 off.
Oh, I know. Well, really 3 because they rounded up. But yeah,
3.
Yeah.
So you
Was
trying
it 30
to?
or not?
Oh my God, yo.
Sound like it was 27.
Yeah, 27.
It wasn't 30.
It's more than 20 that you gave him. But anyway, that's not a hint of that. Let's get back to who we got coming out the West.
Haters.
Who we got, Brent?
Who you got?
In the West. That's a good question. I like the Clippers. I don't know if they're gonna gel in time.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think they got 2 big wing players, and they got the pieces. But I just feel like it's like you took on paper, they look like they should be world beaters, and they're not. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that maybe we have to look at is, can we say that? I would say that maybe Kawhi makes people better around him. I mean, clearly he did a little bit of that in Toronto, right? Yeah. And then he left San Antonio, and we see what the fallout was from that, because you replace statistically like the same points and the team's not the same with DeMar DeRozan. I mean, no, it's just not. So the question is, does Paul George make people better? And I don't know the answer to that is yes, because I seen him with the Pacers, and I don't think that he did that. He carried the team, sure, but I don't think that he did that. And so maybe that's part of why they're not gelling, because you have to have your star players have to be willing to make everybody better. Mm-hmm. And if they're not, that could be a roadblock. So, I want to say the Lakers are coming out the West.
That's what I'm saying, but you know me.
So, and I think that they had a little skid here coming out of All-Star break or before All-Star break, and with everything happening with Kobe. So there was a little bit of a slide in effect. Mm-hmm. But when you got, and again, you heard my argument about what I have against LeBron. When you have LeBron James on the team,
that's not the same LeBron though.
It's a better LeBron.
Yeah, much better.
Much better LeBron.
It's not the same LeBron
because,
that you had back then.
Right, and then you think about what this would mean for LeBron's legacy. So, like, all things aside, like LeBron's looking at like, it's a chance for me to win a third title with a third franchise. Right. Yeah. Historically, I will have now won in both conferences. We haven't seen that since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Well, Kawhi notwithstanding, right? But we haven't seen Kawhi was still, when he won that first one, he wasn't what he is now. That was still Tim Duncan's team. He was the MVP, but that was Tim Duncan's team. Now, if Kawhi wins one in LA, we got the same argument. Now it's like he's a star guy. It's his team both times. So we haven't seen that since Kareem. And then what it would mean for the franchise in this year, particularly, they got the most motivation. And the clock on the wall for LeBron is ticking. He doesn't have that much time left. I mean, he's got maybe 2 more seasons after this one, I think.
Yeah.
So to me, I see the angst really is on him. And I mean, to me, they put together a squad that they need. They could be better in some areas.
The bench.
The bench could be better.
You don't feel like that's an old team?
It is old. It is old, but I think the 2006 Miami Heat was old by that same metric because you had Shaq, Gary Payton, you had James Posey, you had Antoine Walker. Like they were. So I get you on the age, and they didn't really have a bench. If you think about it, they didn't have a bench on that team really. You know,
the bench was all looking towards AARP.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, 2016. Yeah, that finals team. They didn't really have
a lot of veterans. That's it.
Right, man. That's sort of
nobody coming off with the firepower. Like
right, and that's sort of kind of what you have. The only difference is your best player is, instead of it being a young Dwayne Wade, your best player here is a seasoned LeBron. And the one thing, no matter, and this is going to go back to a point you made the other week. The one thing that we can say about LeBron is, because LeBron, the reason LeBron never has to take those game-winning shots is because LeBron's teams generally never down. Statistically, they're always generally up in the game, so he doesn't have to take those shots. True. That's why. But you look at it and you're like, okay, so we got LeBron. LeBron is a much better seasoned player than Dwayne was at that time, so he can kind of cover in the gaps. He can tell guys like in between plays, hey, look for this, look for that. His IQ is so high. They can cover a multitude of sins up because of LeBron's knowledge.
Yes.
And that's something maybe that the Clippers don't have that could hinder them when the playoffs start. Kawhi's got that, sure. But I don't know how vocal Kawhi is with them when they come out. And I don't know if he's telling them, look for this, look for this, look for this.
Have you seen Kawhi say 2 words on the court normally?
No.
Kawhi's either had one or two things, a great team or a great coach.
Agreed.
So, you can't say this year, we got Doc, right? Doc is with him, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I wouldn't say Doc a great coach. I would say he's there. It's like he's like tier B. Like,
okay.
His A. You got one A and one B.
I'm not agreeing with this one. I just want to know your reason of why Doc's not A.
Because I need Doc to have those teams from scratch, build those teams. If he would have did something with Chris Paul and them, then I can give him 1A.
I wanted to hear that. Yeah,
I gotta give him 1A because I'm disappointed.
I wasn't agreeing with you before you say that's my team.
I know. But how you not get a ring with Chris Paul? Chris Paul's one generation. Yeah. He's this generation probably best point guard.
Absolutely.
Is the best
Absolutely.
How you not get a ring with him is like I gotta take you down a notch.
That whole team, though. The whole team was.
Yeah. I need some, bro. Come on, man. You mean to tell me Chris Paul? Come on, he's.
Right.
Ooh, I'm
right. Yeah.
Ooh, when I'm watching them play, he bring you back to like actually watching the game. Like Chris Paul's out there doing his thing. Like literally a little man, feeding, he's shooting. He'll take the shot if you need him to take the shot.
And they had a good bench that couple years in a row actually.
Hungry.
So it's like they had no reason not to.
And they had the pieces.
Even with Blake being injured and stuff, you still had
players like Matt Barnes on the squad. Come on,
that's why I asked that question because that was my.
No, when you got those pieces, I'm like, Doc, you gotta do something, man. You got at least them boys got to be in the finals or something. Right. He took them to the finals at least once or twice at the least.
Right.
they're not gonna put him up there at 1A. But he's like 1B, man. He got to do something, man.
Who's your 1A? Now I want to know. I'll keep
Popovich.
Popovich, definitely.
Yeah,
Popovich.
facts, big facts. You can't ever.
If you technically look at it, Popovich is better than Jackson.
Absolutely.
Why?
I got you. Absolutely. Because Phil won championships running the same offense. He ran everywhere. They ran the same. They ran the triangle. They ran the triangle in Chicago. They ran the triangle with Shaq.
You can't knock that.
No, I get that. They ran the triangle technically again when he came back and they had Paul them. So they ran the triangle. But here's Greg Popovich is the best because he won in different decades and his style evolved with the game of basketball. When he needed to be defensive, that first championship in '99, that was gritty. 2003, gritty. 2005, gritty. 2007, gritty. But the offense started to change. They started to play more like the Phoenix. So they started to play that space and pace.
Yeah.
And then from 2007 to 2013, that if you looked at that Spurs team and looked at the Spurs team from 2003, you would not know that Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan, all the same dudes still playing. Like you'd be like, man. These are the same cats. Now they got new pieces and stuff, but Popovich's coaching style has evolved based on what the NBA is doing right now. And for him to be an older coach, he adapted his game plan. Now, if he needed to get real gritty with defense, guess what? Pop gonna get gritty. The game gonna get slow.
Based on his players too,
right?
Yeah. But he always picked those players that can get the job.
Yes,
Bruce Bowen.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying. He always had those piece players.
Yes,
hit those corner shots too.
Yeah,
and play defense on your best player.
Yeah, the 3-and-D. I mean, Popovich to me, he invented the 3-and-D. I mean, I know we had players that were doing that before, but like that's where you first heard it. Coined is Bruce Bowen guarding Kobe. You like, bro, he guarding Kobe all night long, and y'all still want to hit threes.
Yeah,
3-and-D. Yo.
And then that's the reason I put him over Jackson because Jackson had Jordan and Baby Jordan. So it's like, dude, you
Jordan, Baby Jordan, and the Hulk, like and the Hulk, right? Like
Jordan, Baby Jordan, the Hulk.
I mean, he never had. I mean, and you're right. The other thing is they put those teams together.
Superman.
They put those teams together really by going out and getting pieces, right? Mm-hmm. So like Jordan's second three-peat, they went and got like Ron Harper. They went and got Horace Grant. They went and so they went out and got pieces to put around MJ. Greg built that. Like they had David Robinson and Sean Elliott, and you can make a case for Avery Johnson if you want, But then they didn't really gel. Right. But they didn't really gel until you brought in Mr. Fundamental. Tim got there and the game changed. Now I will say this, and this is the one thing.
They gelled. They won his Tim first year.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, the first year he was hurt. They shut him down. But second year, they gelled. Now also there was a locked out season, so the season was short. 99 was a shortened season, so some of that plays into that. But they still play great. There was that slow, grinded out defensive style, and they beat the poor remnants of the New York Knicks. But so like he built that team, and then he drafted Tony Parker. They got Manu in there. So like I said, he from the ground up is bringing in pieces himself, picking out the talent to make it work. What Jackson does is he lets the front office go out and get these big name people, and it really worked in LA because Jerry West, the logo, is out here like, I'm the logo. I'm gonna need y'all to go ahead and send Kobe from Charlotte. I want him. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and send Shaq from Orlando. I want him. We're gonna send y'all Eddie Jones and a bucket of chicken. And I mean, he basically, and then eventually they
Eddie Jones was there before.
Yeah, and they eventually progressed out to like that last championship with Kobe them on it where they made their run. They had, and you think about on paper, Karl Malone. Now I know they weren't themselves, but Karl Malone, Gary Payton, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal. If you telling me in 1998, let's say 1999, them four on a squad together, on paper, y'all telling me they ain't beating the bricks off everybody?
Yeah,
everybody. So again, they weren't themselves when we got to that time. Obviously, they were a lot older.
You got to give Phil that first championship with the Bulls though, because
I give him that. I give him that. I give him that.
And he went and got Scotty at the draft though.
Yeah, they did.
Give him that.
They did that.
But Scotty was a diamond in the rough though. He went to a small school, played community college ball. Come on, now. I give him that.
Regardless, they're both great coaches. Let's be honest.
Yes, but Pop's still doing it.
Pop is out here still doing it. Pop out here just.
And Pop said he done won championships in 3 decades.
He ain't playing no games.
Phil, what? He had the 90s or 2. Well, I guess he had 3, 90s, 2000, 2010s.
And Pop ain't gonna catch one.
Pop is actually 4 now because 99, the 2000s, and the 10s. So he needs one more for the 20 to get. So he got 3.
Pop gonna catch one in 20.
I don't know. He said
Papa catch one.
Then he gonna have to rebuild the team.
He gonna have to rebuild that whole team.
And that'll probably be his last.
He gonna retire.
Rebuild that team. Maybe 4.
Old girl gonna have a
he ain't
squad.
going to
He need
another
2
team
seasons.
to
2
rebuild.
seasons to
To
build that
rebuild.
Yeah, because he gonna have to draft. He gonna have to draft from the ground up. They got.
I don't see that happening. I'm gonna be honest. If he hasn't already started it, which he
You
really kind of
never
sort of
know,
hasn't.
man.
I don't.
You never know. All you need is that one piece to change the whole team around.
And they got.
Look at Toronto and Kawhi.
Well, right, but
Nobody projected the Raptors to win the championship.
Well, the 2020 thing would be broken if the Spurs had did right by Kawhi. In Kawhi's eyes, let me say it that way. We don't know. Obviously, we weren't inside the organization to see how they treated him. But if Kawhi had felt like he was treated appropriately, he wouldn't have had the angst against him. They never would have traded him. And maybe they would have came out of because with Golden State kind of teetering last year and no KD.
Yeah.
You telling me that if they put a couple pieces around Kawhi down there
on Spurs, yeah.
Oh man,
and that Spurs team took them 7 games against Denver.
But yeah, I think Becky's gonna
like still.
That's why I almost beat them by itself though.
Spurs.
No,
Becky.
Yeah, she's gonna be the first female head
coach.
coach.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Me too.
Not last year.
I'm talking about that year.
But yeah. But last year, even without Pop still took a Denver Nuggets team that should have beat them in 4 games, 7 games.
Yeah.
So Pop is that dude.
Yeah, Pop is great. But like I said, I think Pop gonna be retired. What Brandon and I were just talking about is it's gonna be Becky's team by the time whatever he's trying to establish is established. That's just me. Like I think that's what's gonna happen with that anyway. But we'll go ahead on to our next topic, which I guess we got into some people's feelings because we had a show where it was 3 single dudes talking with no married aspect on the show. So we actually have Brent here, who is married, happily married, and has been for going on 12 years.
12 years, yeah.
Shout out his wife Holly.
Woot woot. Big trust.
Big trust.
Big trust.
Big trust.
Woot woot. In the flesh.
In the flesh. Brent, here you go.
Big dog.
Big dog.
Big dog.
For those of y'all listening, that was episode 4, where we talking about marriage and whom it benefits and things of that nature.
Was it?
Yeah, it was episode 4. That's what we were talking about. So we have our married guest here, so we're gonna get his input on that subject.
Before you put your input, I thought you won't go. I gotta prepare.
Hey.
Let me prepare people. Then hey, by the way,
listen in, tune in,
Yeah,
see
tune
what
in
we
to
got
this.
to say.
Right.
don't worry about it.
We got something
for you. Go ahead, Brent.
for you.
So I think the original question was who does marriage benefit?
Yeah, who's marriage benefit in
2020?
In 2020, yes sir.
It's a great question, and there's many folds to it. So I'm gonna try to answer straightforward as I can.
Yes sir.
For me, it's an equal partnership, right? Now, not everybody gets that, right? Some people, they'll get a lady that wants a man who financially is going to do everything. Not all women want that. A lot of women have their own bag now. They got it.
Yeah.
Not every woman has it. Not every man does, because there's a lot of women that marry these deadbeat dudes.
Yeah.
These scrubs, right?
Be out here.
Right. So, but there's, at the same token, there are also scrub women that can do things and maybe are not doing all they could. So, if it's an equal partnership, I'd say it's fair ground for both parties, right? So, the things that you would get as a man, and I will say this: my experience is a black man, and I'm married to a black woman, so I can't talk outside of that. So I'm going to say what I'm going to say within that color lens, okay? My wife, I think, she doesn't do this like as a forward thing. It's just something that happens. I think she expects a lot of me. And that's a positive thing. It's made me a better man. It made me a better man. Well, because some women, we have this stigma, where some women don't want their men to. They don't care. So like the women that get with the guy and the guy's trash, and they know he's trash, right? You got a kid with him, but he don't do nothing with the kid. He don't got a job, but he sits at home all day. He doesn't do nothing, right?
On the old game system playing
2K. Right. But you going to work, busting your behind, making the money. Okay, so. And then, the flip side of that is, and this is something that's particular to our community, and my wife and I talk about this a lot of times with, black men and dating outside of our race. And I know we're getting into way, way deep waters, but I want to touch on this to kind of bring it back to why I say it makes me better. Our women, our black women, for the most part, they expect excellence, right? And we as kings, right? Yeah. If we're doing our thing, and I can say, just listening to the 3 of y'all, and 2 of you I already knew personally, and I mean Byron for the first time. Okay. I know that the three at the table got it. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Okay, so for you, that's not a problem. But it becomes sort of like a stereotype. So all brothers get stereotyped. Well, y'all like this and y'all like that. Well, it's not a y'all thing. We gonna do what we got to do. But I feel like she holds me more accountable. Now she doesn't do that openly. She knows I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. Lizzo says, why men great till they gotta be great. I want to tell Lizzo, I'm great all the time, baby. I'm an MVP. Me and Wesley use this analogy a lot.
Talk to her.
I'm an MVP. I'm a finals MVP. I may not make the shot every time. I'm going to mess up because I'm a dude, right? I'm going to mess up. But when the moment get tight, the game get big, I'm going to pull up and hit the shot. And make a miss, I'm going to live with it. Because
I need you.
So I'm going to pull up and hit it. But I'm going to say if it's a joint partnership, it benefits both. Can it go one way or the other? It absolutely can. And the scene has changed. So like when I met my wife, we met the old fashioned way. We met person to person. She put her phone number in my phone. Like we had this flip phone days,
Oh man.
Yes. Take it back. Right. Right. I had to kill Sarah, but then I got the razor. Yeah. That razor, yeah. So so for me, we met but like with social media and things now and with the dating apps and stuff, the game has changed. And I tell Wesley a lot, when you talk to people, one of the things that women kind of look for, and the art has kind of escaped young dudes today, is the art of talking.
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay. That's what I was getting on, yo.
Yeah.
The approach game. The approach game is like off, man.
Yes.
I get so many hit up from dudes, like the younger guys. Yo, how do I do this? How do I say the right things? There's no pickup line. You have to be able to converse.
Absolutely.
Not conversate, converse.
Have a conversation.
Right?
Talk
how
to somebody.
To talk.
Right.
That's all you need to do. Like they thinking you gotta have some type of line, or you gotta drive some type of car. First of all, if you say some type of line and get it, you're wrong.
Well, she wrong.
She wrong.
Right.
If you drive some type of car, she
wrong.
That's not the
wrong.
woman for you.
Right.
If you need those things to get her, that's probably not the woman you want anyway. So
right.
if you take the L, you win anyway.
My fault.
Oh, you gonna take it?
Go ahead.
My fault.
You can take you can take the road.
You can take the road.
The pickup line stuff that goes to what we were talking about earlier: dating apps or in person. And the pickup lines, I feel like you say for the dating apps because it's like you never met this person, so you want to hear kind of stuff. See what they say to be funny and stuff, and kind of eye catchers. I feel like that's okay for dating apps, but if you're doing it in person, it's like
it's cheesy.
I feel like it's a little cheesy. If I can come up to a female, and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" That should be enough to because you seeing the person right there in your face,
right?
And you can see how they are. You can see their mouth move, everything like that. Whatever
right.
features you see, like. Is his teeth straight? His hair. You can see everything. With dating apps, I feel like you gotta kind of put a nice picture out and then put like a pickup line. If I'm wrong, hit me up. Tell me.
But my advice to dudes, I tell dudes, keep it short at first.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be pictures. Think about it. Pictures. Hey, I like the way this person looks, and this person like the way I look. We're gonna keep it short, and we're gonna link up. Then you get into all that. You have to meet the person face to face.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like it's a loss. That's the problem. Like for me, that's a loss of conversation. Like meeting somebody, rolling up to them, and just approaching somebody. See, that's lost. Like everybody wants to just, hey, let me pop on Tinder real quick. Let me see who I can find real quick. Swippity, swipe. But yet you're not out here going in these streets trying to talk to somebody. Like that's the problem. Like because I know you kind of sort of did both. You got your dating app and your conversation, but let's just have some conversation.
Yeah, true.
I talk with anybody.
But here's to the defense of the guys now though. They ain't trying to get me too. Like if you get all in the broad face now, why he's stalking me? He just trying to talk to her.
Hey, but you can get the same thing.
I have gotten that from guys too. You know what I mean?
Well,
it comes from dating apps too, though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think too, it's like a muscle. So like you got to exercise it. You might feel that you get the Me Too shade, but that's probably because you haven't had enough practice. Because like for me, again, and I hate to keep bringing race into it, but for me as a black man, if I'm approaching a woman, I'm married, so I'm not even trying to spit game, but I just know like if I'm talking to a lady and I'm being nice, I'm more cognizant of what I say and how I say it, because I don't want to come off in a certain light.
Yeah.
So some of that is they haven't had to practice it a lot. And they'll have well-meaning intentions. They'll say something that's not off the wall, but
I like you, yeah,
right? But like the girl's like, what? Because Wes and I talked about like now, and that's some of the game that the older cats are running now. So like where they get the young girls, they'll come in because they talk and they're conversing.
Right. That's that's the biggest reason why these old dudes running around with like 24-year-olds and stuff.
Right.
They ain't really trying to. They not even like like actual like getting tricked on these days. Like they just out here picking them up just because they can, because they know how to talk to somebody.
Right.
Like they ain't even really out here putting out dollars. You know what I'm saying? They just was like, hey, how you doing?
Right. And I mean, to me, again, you know, it's all about exercising that ability. Like, you know, you even as a married man, you know, I still talk to my wife the way I talk to her to get her. We laugh, we joke, we have a good time. It's not, you know. Now, obviously, now I got the history and I know, you know, different things about it, so I know how to anticipate. And maybe that's part of it too. Maybe sometimes people today are more uncomfortable because, you know, you're learning a person, you don't know what it is you can and cannot say, and that's why the art of practicing it, you know, comes into play, because you learn kind of quick what are general things that people will kind of brush or, you know, bristle up at, what things that they'll accept. But you know, you have to practice.
Also, people don't know how to read people. Like you can just be having a conversation with somebody and they just don't. They won't know what they're doing wrong. They just gonna keep talking,
That's also too.
and
That's
not looking and paying attention
Yeah.
to what people are doing, watching what their movements are.
You gotta watch what a person is, because if they kind of if you walk up to a female or vice versa, you just gotta understand that if they kind of like nonchalant, not give you short answers, they might not be interested. Don't get mad and call them, you know, this and that, because that then it's gonna take you another.
Right.
Take your L, yo.
Right.
I bet everybody has taken the L.
Take a L.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, if you haven't taken the L, then that's why you.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I feel like that's why you failing at, I ain't gonna say failing at life, but not understanding what you're doing wrong because you've never been man enough to take that L.
Yeah.
So I feel like guys will go to Facebook, add these random girls to Facebook, then hit them up and feel like you can say whatever.
Or dropping in the DMs.
Dropping
Right.
in the DMs, but then in person it's a different ballgame. So
Right.
please take that L. It's
Right.
not a bad thing. That's not gonna mess up your manhood,
Exactly.
you know? But some people think that like, oh, I just took an L from my boy, so now I gotta call her a name
Yeah.
to look
Oh,
good.
that's
Like,
No.
I mean, but I've
No.
seen that, and it's
Right.
like,
Plenty
bro,
of
like,
time.
nah, man.
Yeah, but
nah.
I'm better face to face though.
Oh yeah.
Facebook, your Instagram, you got it. You
Right.
can hide that.
Right.
But when you catch that boy out live, that boy live, shit on point, boy. You better tell us something. I'm stacking something out there. It's 5 of them. I'm gonna get me one.
Right.
Byron got one.
Stupid. I've been
At
on
least.
both ends. I've tried dating apps, and I've been in person. I've taken L's on both.
Right.
It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Like
Right.
Lord's will, you'll see another day.
Oh,
Right.
you like
It's
took
just
some
Yeah.
L's.
No, I know I look like I took some L's. I look at my face like,
We
"Dang,
all
I
took-
see
We
it."
all took L's, man. Everybody take L's.
Like, dang, I see why I take L's. Dang,
Yeah.
it was
But
like,
the thing
nah.
about it is, Byron and I've been talking for years, boy. We just talking these streets, you know what I'm saying? We just
Yeah.
gonna roll up somebody, we gonna solve the conversation.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
we in the room, we talking to somebody. We
Right.
talking about something.
yep. That's how it works. My wife and I worked together in the first full disclosure, I had actually seen my wife before. I didn't realize she was the same girl at the same time, but a few years before I had actually saw her in passing. And I thought to myself, like, ooh, that's a bad girl. I was like, oh, she bad. I said, but she wouldn't give me the time of day. So when we actually ended up working together, and again, I didn't realize it was her. First thing I said to her, I was like, man, I was on a 15-minute break. I worked at Walmart. Okay.
All right, so was you trying to talk to her, Lance? Were you trying to holler at her?
Well, I was just trying to drop a line. See, because one day she seen me in the hallway at work.
Cheesy pickup line.
Well, no, I didn't try to pick up line. No. I was making conversation. So she had seen me in the hallway one day and she said hello. And Wesley knows she's real soft spoken. So
Yeah.
so at first I didn't know she said hello. And so I had to replay that in my mind because as a dude again, like you don't want to be creepy or weird and be
Yeah.
like. So this next time I saw her, she said hello a little louder. I made sure to say hello. And so then I saw her on my break. I had a 15-minute break, and she was sitting there eating her lunch or whatever. And I said, man, these 15-minute breaks, man, they go by so quick. Like I just make a small talk, like, hey, how you doing? And she's like, I wouldn't know. She's like, I got an hour lunch. And so that was our first conversation. But it was a conversation. It wasn't a cheesy pickup line. Like I had seen her. She was a coworker, so I was just, because I wasn't trying to make things weird then. Clearly, I was picking up what she was putting down. But
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to make a general line, a general statement, something safe about work. And that's how I picked up. And then, it kind of took off from there. She would see me. She'd try to go out her way to make conversation. I would come into work. She would be working the registers or whatever. I'd go out my way to buy things I didn't need to buy just to chat her up. And then one day we were sitting in the same spot where we, had that first conversation. And I think my phone was sitting on the table. At the time, I didn't, because I didn't know. I found out she was older than me. So she was my wife. Full disclosure, my wife's like 4 years older than me.
4?
Yeah, so
That's not too bad.
Yeah, so I was a senior in high school and she was a junior in college.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
We're
so
not
she was.
talking about this all the time.
Yeah,
Things built in the 80s.
These things built in the 80s. I'm telling you. But anyway, so she.
Quick question. I got one question for you.
Yes, sir.
Y'all first met 12 years ago? 13 years ago?
13
right?
years ago. Yep.
All right. So what's the biggest difference between now and then? Would you would say, as far as like
Oh God,
it could be anything. Like far as like dating and talking and stuff like that.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful because I'm gonna get. And this is for the ladies. Y'all gonna love this, fellas. I'm sorry. I'm gonna wax real soft on y'all. I'm apologize. Let me tell you. So I fell in love with the girl. She was 21. I married the girl at 22. At every stage and at every age, it's like, so people say they can't imagine being married, but my wife is not the same that she was when she was 21. Yeah. It's like I've been married or I've been dating a different girl, like mentally, and the memories are there. So I know it's her. Physically, it's her. But she's changed, she's developed, she's evolved so much.
She's growing.
Right. So it's like I'm dating different people. Now, there are things that
that's exciting.
4 years ago that would set her off that today might not. But there are some things that still, no matter what day it is, whether this is 2009 or whether it's 2020, still will set her off, and you learn those things, right? But I don't mean things that I do, but things in general. Like I can tell my wife's angry if I hear a conversation and I hear how someone's talking to her. I don't have to see her. I don't have to be in the room with her. One day her mom was talking to her. They were in the house, and her mom got blessed out to the 9th degree. But I knew it was coming, and I started to go back and help her mom. But I realized, no, her mom needed to get the fire that was coming. I picked up the trash bag and went on out the door.
Yeah,
but I knew I can sense.
Yeah, and y'all caught a vibe. That's it.
I don't have to see her. If somebody says a certain statement, I got it immediately. I know what the emotion is inside, and so I can anticipate. And that's why I say being a husband is like being a diplomat. You learn how to, because you're not managing her. She is what she is. She's passionate, she's beautiful, she's all these things, and she's ever evolving, so she's changing. But understanding how I need to, when I can, and this is going to sound real bad to the feminists, when I can, need to protect her from the outside world, where I need to step in. She's a big girl. She don't need me to do that. But there are times I have to kind of be that buffer, and when I need to be that buffer, I gotta be that buffer. So Lizzo, men can be great when they gotta be great. You just picking the wrong dudes.
To this woman.
I'm just saying. Now,
yeah,
not all dudes. I can
tell by the way you conversate, like y'all got good conversation. Like I could just tell by your vibe, conversation.
We cut up.
That's big. Like women don't realize how big that is. Like I don't want to hear gossip all the time. I just want me and you to communicate.
Right.
Sometimes just lay in the bed, just talk.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's missing out of relationships so much, bro. Oh, yeah. Just a general conversation. I don't want to hear about no work. I don't want to hear about this, that. Right. I don't want to hear about the gossip around the street. None of that shit.
Right.
Yo, I don't want to hear. Think about it. The weight of a black man in this world now is tough. Like we got to maneuver through everything. We got to watch what we say, how we act, everything.
Yep.
So I mean, everything's a must.
Yep, absolutely.
My bad. That's second we had to pause. But yeah, like the stresses of the world, man.
Oh yeah, it's something else. And I mean, yeah, we laugh all the time. We talk about, and the other thing is you have to be willing, like, to do things. And our last year, our goal has been and for the folks that follow we have a fitness Instagram thing. So for the folks that follow that, Love Life Fit X2, just pitching that. But our thing is, by the way, I know one side thing. Well, we'll talk about it, right? So also a side note. So in the last year and a half, I lost 160 pounds. That's why I'm pitching all this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Appreciate that. But so I'll say all that to say this, and that's another thing that's beautiful too, because this is a woman. I'm smaller now than I was at any point in my high school career. I think even football playing weight. And this is a woman who married me bigger than I am now, right? And she still loves me now the same way. Like that's like I can't even begin to explain to you. And the crazy part about it is this. So like, and I'm gonna use a Marvel analogy. I'm not a Marvel guy, I'm more of a DC guy, but I'm gonna use a Marvel analogy. Thanos, right? Yeah. My man got the Infinity Gauntlet. It's almost like Tank said. There are times where she's like, she says things, and I know that in a moment, the universe that she's giving me is mine, and sometimes it's kind of scary because you realize with one snap of your fingers you could really mess some stuff up. So that's why it's important for you to be on your game. Yes, you will make mistakes, right? You will. You try to minimize those as much as you can. You learn where you can. But if you come and she knows you got good intentions, she knows you mean well, you might slip and you might fall. Don't right. If you stay on the ship and the storm's gonna come, I'm telling you, they're gonna rock. Sometimes the whole boat will almost tip over.
You always got the emergency paddle.
The paddle. But if you stay on the ship, you love each other, you willing, and you can't never be afraid to say you're sorry. Sometimes you can say sorry, and this is real talk, fellas. Sometimes you can say sorry for stuff that maybe you don't really think that you did wrong, But I'm telling you, in the long run, letting her know, even if and sometimes I set it up like this when I'm explaining, I'm apologizing.
Lying,
no, that's not lying.
That's
because
lying,
because here's what I explained. I say, if the statement I made hurt you, that was never my intention. Of course,
it's called being a nigga person.
The last thing I ever want to do in my life is to cause you pain. If it were left up to me, I know pain's gonna happen because we gotta have sunshine and some rain, right? Mm-hmm. If it were me, you would never feel pain from this avenue. And I always tell my wife, I was like, with your personal life, what happens with your family? I was meant to be the love that you thought you should have got from all these other avenues that you never did. Okay. Now my love isn't perfect because I'm just one dude, right?
Okay.
But where you felt like, because she's a middle child and she had some family issues growing up, my wife maybe didn't get all the love that she should have gotten coming up.
And that's most people.
I want to be the bridge in the gap where I can be. I can't be everything because I'm one man. But where I can be that man, I want to be him. So when I do things and I mess up, I let her know, hey, look, I understand, and I can see it from your avenue. I see how this could be misconstrued. I'm sorry that it came off that way. That's not what I meant. This is how I meant it, and I didn't mean to hurt you. And typically with those kind of explanations, because it's not saying that you're sorry for something that you absolutely believe you're right about, because you may make the statement, and the statement might be factual. It might have been what she needed maybe to hear, but sometimes we make the mistake of not phrasing it in a proper way. Yep. And so it comes across sideways. It's like a shot across the bow, and you don't want that to happen. So sometimes it's not that you're apologizing because I told you the right thing, but my delivery was lacking.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm speaking for most men, and I think they probably would agree. I feel like most men they at a point they don't want to compromise themselves a lot. Saying sorry is tough.
It is, but
saying sorry is tough. If you're not at that stage of your life, it's tough to give somebody that upper hand.
I agree,
and that feeds inside our ego. And I see where you at with it. And I'm like, man, this dude, he's mature with it, because a lot of situations I've been in, I wasn't man enough to say, yo, my bad. Right. Yo, my ego's speaking. I'm paying all the bills. Right. That's how I feel it. Yo, for real. Like, as a man standpoint, yo, when we taking care of home and we doing everything, but we don't get the mental part is more with the mature woman. I can tell by the way you talking. I ain't even mention her wife. She's more mature than probably most women I've been with. Right. And I can just tell this, it's just your vibe. But I've been with some mature women, and I couldn't keep them because I wasn't there mentally with them. Right. Yeah, I could provide and all that type of stuff. We all can do that. Right. But when it gets to that second element, now I know what to do. Right. See, I probably lost a couple of wives because I didn't know what to do in those situations. Yeah. God has brought some great women to me, and I messed up.
This episode deep, y'all.
Right. Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. But you just gotta know what to do in those situations. Yeah. Like the ego plays a lot into that, and I feel like we got to do more than just pay bills. Right. That's more, a big fact, man. It's more than that. Yeah. And I feel like
emotional support. It's just a fact.
Yeah. And for each other too. So like the conversation we're having now. So I'm the married man at the table, but I'm sharing the things that I know with y'all. Because like I said, there's a point, and you'll have, like, as you grow in a relationship, you'll have these moments where you feel like even now, and I'm this far into it, there are moments where she says and does things that again lets me know that all of this is in my hands.
I got one question for you.
Yep.
Did you compromise? Did you compromise to be in your relationship yourself? Or were you ready at that point?
No,
be fully honest.
I was ready. I was ready.
My hero.
I was ready. I was ready. I was ready. And if I could tell,
at that age, you was ready.
If I could tell, if I could tell 17-year-old, I'm 17 then.
Wow.
If I could tell,
I had a great one at 17.
If I could tell 17, well, and real talk. So, and it's gonna get real deep and philosophical, and maybe even a little religious on us. Okay. So I remember that conversation I had with her about the 15 minutes and all that. Yeah. The moment I left her, I walked out. I was going back to work, and I thought to myself, I said, what if that girl is the one? And it was almost like, and I don't want to say,
boy, you was in love.
I don't want to say God told me, but it was like, just keep watching. It was almost like it was just like a show. Just keep watching.
Oh yeah.
And so
see, God had told you, watch what she do, not what she say. Like,
just keep watching.
She could just be going off with somebody and
that's why she put the phone number in the phone. She made the first real cognizant move. She made. Yeah. Because again, and this is prior to the Me Too thing, but for me, and I have been in some situations, Wes and I have talked about them some, where I have gone, and typically when situations break out, like when I'm with a young lady, although I've been with the same young lady for all this time, so I typically let the lady lead, so she will let me know what's up. I know I can drop little seeds and little things here and there, right? As part of the conversation, just kind of. But I let when she was ready to move to some other level, she will let me know, and so I let her. So then I know she's comfortable, because the main thing for me is once she's comfortable. Oh, now I can go into my bag of tricks. So you save all your
something in my bag.
Yeah, I'm in my bag now, right?
Bag now. A lot of men
don't think like this.
They don't think like that. You know what I'm saying? They got to that point where they can just be like, yo, I'm gonna let.
Because it's predatory, right? I mean, as a man, we want to hunt, right?
We
hunt, and you still get. And this is the beautiful part about it. You still get that chase. Like right now, even married, there are times where you obviously can take it for granted, but there are other times you're like, this almost still a chase. It's not the same chase because I know I got it, right? I got it by right.
Yeah.
But
by law.
Right. But by law, legally, I can go in there and claim my right. Yeah. But it's something about, like, because it's surprise things that you wouldn't think that, on demand you can say, and I don't want to get to, but on demand you could be like, hey, I need X, Y, and Z. And I don't mean like I mean like behind closed doors, I need X, Y, and Z. And there are moments where it don't matter what's going on. I mean, the whole world could be collapsing outside. If I were to issue a request, I done built up enough credit in the storehouse. I can go cash in some of my chips, And so that's beautiful because, like I said, sometimes you don't think about it, and I have these moments where I think I'm like, I'm holding an entire universe in my hands.
All right, for the guys who don't have that,
right?
What do we look for in women? The women that we dating, or the ones we want to talk to, what things, what habits, or whatever do we look for to find that?
That's a great question.
Women can be confusing.
Women can be confusing.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all can hate me later, but y'all confusing sometimes.
They simple. They simple.
Right.
They simple. But
everything they say they want, they don't want. Right. So just do the opposite.
Oh,
I can't wait a minute.
That's that player.
That's the problem right there.
Yeah.
Like that set you up for failure.
Yes. So and I'm gonna say,
but if you want to be a player, that's the rule of thumb.
Well, here's the thing too.
Stupid.
He's not.
Hey, but what are you finding out there when you playing like that?
Oh man, you ain't getting. You getting trash.
Byron, I'm about to bail you out. I'm just gonna tell you, as a married man, sometimes it still is like that. Sometimes.
Thank you.
Now you get. Now you get in the door, right? You're in the door. You're in the game. But sometimes coach gonna call the play, and like Aaron Rodgers, you're gonna look to the sideline and say, McCarthy, what are you talking about? So sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's still even because I'll tell you, like, I mean, because I'm sometimes you go to the line of scrimmage and the coach don't call that run play, but that it's 3rd and 15 and running the ball in the situation ain't getting us where we got.
But you can't Russell Wilson in this situation. You gotta run the ball to Marshawn.
Not on 3rd and 15.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
No. Listen. We second and goal with a timeout and 30 seconds left in the ball game. You doggone right. We run the ball. We got a timeout.
I don't care about who deserves the MVP. We win this game.
Right. Yeah. So yes, but you're right. But so sometimes it's like, even now, because like I'll try to anticipate what she wants, and sometimes I know like I'm gonna have a conversation that's gonna be uncomfortable to have. I don't want to upset her, right? So I try to figure out a way to have this conversation without upsetting her, but so I still get the point across. But sometimes I outthink myself because as a dude, women are tricky. So you try to think about the smartest way to do it, and oftentimes trying to be smart actually ends up being dumb on your part. Okay. So then you end up stepping in it, and so that's the apology that I say when I end up having to make that apology about. I didn't mean it that way. Typically, that happens there. We don't normally have full-on drag-out fights because I don't normally do nothing else stupid. Okay. But I end up doing something stupid trying to do the right thing.
True. Brandon, I'm going to let you know you ain't helping him at all. But okay.
Oh,
that's fine.
Well, so what's wifey material? Is I think you answered some of it, but what's wifey material? Since you married, what's wifey material for you? 2020.
I think before he answers that, wifey material for one person ain't wifey material for another person. Yeah. But I think
what qualities?
I want him to answer it, but everybody don't like the same qualities, so that's a different thing. But I do want him to answer it, but I want to put that out there.
Yeah, here's a generic thing. So you want somebody she doesn't have to be into the same things you are, right? That's fair. But she has to be willing to, because you talk about the conversation piece. And this goes for men too. We have to be willing to accept conversation about things that we generally don't have interest in, but kind of expand our horizons. Mm-hmm. My wife is a crafter. She has a side business that is crafting. I don't craft, but you know what I do? I do help craft because that's what I have to do to be a good husband. Mm-hmm. So I know more about that than probably I ought to, but that's something that interests her is that I participate in. What does she do? We go to sporting events. We went to see D Wade's The Last Dance tour. We went to see them in DC. She went with me.
Yeah.
It was great. I come home and I talk about, I'm a big nerd, so I talk about all my superhero stuff, all my my Star Trek stuff, whatever. She listens. She'll watch this stuff with me. So you got to find somebody that's willing. I don't want to use the word compromise, because compromise is a negative word. To be willing to expand your horizons. I cannot tell you how much my wife has enriched my life, and I didn't even notice in a jump, by trying different things that I myself, from the bringing up that I had, would have never got outside of the box to try. Like from food to art to music. Like there would be things like, I'm a type of guy, and Weston knows this, I love Frank Sinatra. My wife, and I didn't know this when I met her, my wife, she's a big Rat Pack girl, right? So, but like for me, being a black dude in 2008, black dudes don't listen to Frank Sinatra. Not most of them, right? No. Don't get me wrong. I listen to modern music. I don't want to make y'all think I'm just sitting at home listening to old. But so like that's the thing for me.
You've been talking Lizzo for a little while, so we know.
I mean, well, okay, fair enough. But that's a whole other topic unto itself with Lizzo. But I mean, I'm just saying. So like, you find somebody that's willing to expand their horizons. So they're open. You want somebody that's open.
Yeah, definitely.
Part of it is you want somebody that's bringing something to the table that you yourself may not necessarily already have. Okay, so you might have a job, but does that person have a job? Or are they bringing something else to the table that maybe you're missing, right? Mm-hmm. Now that's a little hard to find, because sometimes we have to have self-introspection and say, what am I missing? And we don't know that, because it's hard to kind of figure out when you're still just trying to figure out how do I even get the girl to talk to me first.
I feel like you should pick somebody that's like, if both of you guys are growing and improving,
right? This
person always has to be improving. It's like building a franchise team. If you're trying to look for a woman, you gotta have that person that's gonna, you looking for this piece that's gonna last you for a long time,
right?
So they gotta have a whole lot of qualities, or have the potential to have those qualities. Not just potential. You gotta see something.
Right.
You gotta be willing to learn those qualities.
You gotta be doing something.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna just find that person just right there. You gotta be willing to learn those qualities of that person, see if they got them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And people will let you know.
Just roll up and be like, okay, my checklist. You got this, that.
Well, and
that's why I'm big on habits, though. That's why I'm big on habits, because their habits gonna tell you everything they need to know. The mouth can lie.
Right.
The mouth can lie.
Right.
The mouth will tell you so many lies, but the habits, you cannot fake those habits.
Yeah, you can fix your mouth to say anything, as I like to say.
Fix your mouth to say anything.
Yeah,
but them habits allow you.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, I like to do this. I like to do that. Yeah, I like to read. And you've been around this person 2 years, you never seen them read a book.
Not one. By the way, if y'all didn't know, yes, we got some country boys in it. Fix your mouth, say anything.
I absolutely country boy all the way. Country boy all the way.
We out here. Well, I'm the least country apparently, but anyway, somehow
that's fine. But yeah, no, but you're right though. I mean, that's the thing. Like you have to find, and that's how you find out. Like, are they the type of person that can grow and adapt and evolve? If the answer to that question becomes yes, and you'll find that out pretty quick. It takes a little bit of deep diving. You have to do a little investing, and that's the other scary part about it. Today we live in a day and age where everything's instant.
Yeah.
We don't. And part of it is too, as we get older, our time becomes more and more valuable.
Exactly.
Because we get.
My next question is, how long do you give a person? If you were, doing your thing right now.
Yeah.
How long would you give a person out here in these streets before you can be like, nah, this ain't gonna work? Well, a woman, like, nah, this ain't gonna work. 2 months, 3 months.
I would say. How
long would you date a person?
I would say
this ain't gonna work.
2 or 3 months. You want to give her time to get to know you, get some of the awkwardness out the way.
Because as you get older, it gets easier for a person to lie. Because you busy,
right?
Because you in your prime and stuff. Because think about it, you in your career,
right?
You probably got kids. You probably got, so you got work. You got things to do. You moving around,
right?
You're not just we going to school writing letters and shit.
Right.
I see you in second period, third period.
Right.
I can see you,
right.
Now, shit, you might live across town, or you might live in the next town,
right.
and I might not be able to see you as much. So I can't see your habits as
right.
much.
Yeah, so for me, it's a unique situation because my wife went to school in Radford, so that was an hour and a half away from me. So that during the week stuff, we couldn't see each other.
You couldn't see each other.
Yeah.
But the habits when you seen her,
yes,
you can tell.
Yes,
like,
and I would do different things too. Like, so sometimes this is so terrible. For folks who listen to the podcast, if you watch the show, please don't think I'm Joe. That's a joke that y'all probably.
You?
No, yeah, you, yeah. So okay, so sometimes I would like on towards the end of the week, I would slip off and go to Radford. Like, I come to school, I'd do attendance so they could not call auto dial the house and be like, and my mom knows this now, but so they wouldn't auto dial the house and be like, your student was missing from the first period, blah, blah. I would let them do attendance. I read my newspaper. Yes, and I read the newspaper. I still read the newspaper when I get my hands on one now. I read the newspaper, fold it up, put it in my bag. I was like, all right, y'all, I'll see y'all next week. Went, got my keys, got in the car, went to Radford. I would sometimes just pop in on it, just be, hey, how you doing? Like, sometimes I have stuff. Sometimes I wouldn't have nothing. I just show up, just pop out the blue.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of dope because she didn't have a roommate. She had suite mates, but she didn't have a roommate. So when we would come hang out in her room, whatever, just be us, and we go out do whatever. And sometimes, I mean, we didn't even have to spend money. Like, we just walk around campus and cut up, and I mean. But like for me, I had that early on, so we didn't live in the same city. Now, when she come over for holiday stuff, she did live here, so that worked out, and that's how we ended up meeting. But during the main part of the year, I couldn't go and like check on her and see what she's doing. I couldn't, so we would see each other sporadically. So you're right, but you have to, and like 2-3 months, like if you're spaced out like that where y'all can't see each other like that, to me 2 or 3 months is a valid experiment, because at that point you should know whether or not there's enough materials between the two of you to build the house. If there's not,
true, bro,
then you just be like, hey, listen, I appreciate you. You're a beautiful woman. You got a lot to offer. Maybe a different.
I've been meeting a lot of them lately. Like, yo, beautiful, and I was like, but where's everything else at? Like, yo, where the habits? I need something. Like, what else do you do besides dress up on Friday and go out?
Right.
Like, where you find these people at though, bro?
Right.
Listen, man, I meet them. Hey, you meet them on the street.
You find them out there dressed up and dressed out.
I'm just saying, she might send you a picture or something,
Oh, well, I mean, but
I mean, I'm just asking you. I'm asking you. You
you meet them. I mean, you can meet them at the store.
You meet a lot of them. I'm just saying.
You meet them at the store, Walmart.
I'm just
Kroger, whatever.
I'm just asking because I'm
saying, I'm
straight.
straight.
Where you at in these streets?
Hey, I'm straight up.
Oh, I know that.
I meet you straight up, face to face.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if you meeting them at the club or not. You know what I mean?
Nah, most time at a bar.
Dressed up, dressed out.
I was about to say a bar.
At a bar,
I mean, same difference.
No, and
what
at work,
what I'm getting
at work too.
And what I'm getting at is that. But anyway, continue. Also, you had some stuff you wanted to ask or say.
It's all.
I was about to turn to you too. I wanted to hear from this corner.
2 minutes back.
Go ahead, bro.
Nah, so the only thing I was going to say is you said something about how you lost weight and everything.
Right.
I just want to say to guys, because for some reason it goes back to the apps. Looks change.
Oh yeah.
So you can't go by how good this woman looked right then and there. Like, yo, she bad. Yo, I'm trying to tell you something.
Hey, Kanye West said it best.
Go ahead.
You hot right now? I'm gonna be rich forever. What you talking about? So guys, get your money up.
Get your money up. All
right, go ahead.
No, but keep it 100. Like, looks change.
Oh yeah.
Stuff happens in life.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go by how this woman looks. So something has to keep you around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she is hilarious. Good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all do stuff together that keeps y'all, you know what I'm saying? Something besides her looking 100 a day, like, that she fine. Like, that's it. Can't be it. Yeah. You gotta have something that's gonna keep you. If you don't find that, then I feel like you shouldn't be with that. Not be with them, but it might just be a fling.
Yeah, but that discourages guys too, because that makes your pickings even slimmer. Because you can find one, then you find out she ain't really got nothing, then what? You know what I mean? You're like, fuck, I might as well, then you get in doing your thing with her, and that's all you want.
And that happens. But
yeah,
it goes back to the guy too. You gotta be honest with her. Like, look, I mean, this might not work out. If you want to keep this going, cool. If not, we'll have to find separate ways. You just gotta be a man about it and take that L and vice versa.
Yeah, but a lot of us just want the sex element.
Right.
A lot of people do. But I'm just saying, if you're looking for
90% of us.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about it is, if you get
you the 90.
well, I was gonna say, and that goes back to the universe thing though. So, like I said, I mean, when you get you one that's a real winner, like, that'll come. I will tell you, and this is gonna be a little TMI for folks who know us personally.
Come on with it, bro.
Good guy.
I would say at year 12, it is, and some of this is because I've done things in my body too to get better, right? But it is better today than it was on my wedding night, and I would even probably go so far as to say it's probably better today than it was when she was in college.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, because again, there are days. I don't know if I say days. I mean, it's probably like this all the time. But in my mind, I have this contextual. Like there are days where she says things, and I'm like, "Oh, the universe is straight up mine. I can do anything I want.
Yeah,
I can. Brand is in the building. I can snap my fingers and turn half these niggas into dust. Yeah. You know, like you're not really doing it, but like that's like in your mind. That's what. So like. And it's scary because again, you're in this position of power. Kids on this episode. Yeah, give the kids a bit. You're in a position of power, so you have to be responsible with that power, and that's why I say, women, good women. Let me preface that. Good women expect great things from men. If you want that kind of power, you got to be able to bring. And I don't just mean like the financial part. That stuff. That's materialistic stuff. You got to be the thing that. And I'll just tell you this. It's going to sound real puppy doggish. When my wife comes home, normally I beat her home every day because I get off like 30 minutes before she does. When she comes home, she don't come home in the dark. The lights are on. The door's unlocked. I'm waiting on her. Normally, if we haven't already fixed something for dinner, I'll be on that. Now, if she gets off before I do, because some days I do have to work a little overtime, she'll be on the dinner thing. But, we parlay different stuff. But I try to make sure that she knows every day, girl, you're the most important thing there is. I wake up in the morning. And even though she's over there, right? First thing I look at, first thing I think about. Second thing I think about is, God, I hate the alarm clock. I hate going to work. Yeah. And then the third thing is, I wish I could stay in this bed all day with you over here, but it don't work. So that's what I'm saying. Like and I tell Wesley, when the moment get tight, you got to be an MVP. When it's time to pull a shot, you got to pull a shot. But like you said, Byron, the hard part is finding somebody that you want to build your franchise with. You want to be.
She needs you.
If you gonna be LeBron, and I'm gonna use a sports analogy because that's the biggest thing. If you gonna be LeBron, you gotta find your D Wade like that, and that's hard. That's hard, like especially nowadays. But
don't get J.R. Smith.
Please God, because sometimes you think it's D Wade, and like Scooby Doo, she pull off that mask. Whoop, you're like, oh, it's J.R. Smith.
I'm sorry, using that comparison. I don't want no J.R. Smith. I need a
Dwayne Wade. Right, one of those. Hey, I got you.
D-Wade, knees went bad. So
hey, hold on. Let me stop you right there. Father Time is undefeated, but look, one of those is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a Finals MVP. He's a 13-time NBA All-Star, and the other dude is a 6 Man of the year, and that's the only hardware he got besides a championship LeBron gave him. So I'm just saying, you want. I mean, them the differences. They both get your chips, right? You both get chips. But what is it when you got an equal partner bringing you a chip?
You can. That's a dynasty. That's a dynasty.
Listen. You look up and you like.
She got more.
Hey, but here's what we're talking about here. Think about this: if Dwayne Wade and LeBron James got together at the same time, Dwayne Wade's knees ain't broke down.
Right, because he doesn't carry a franchise. He doesn't. Yeah. If they had got together 2007, so before they showed, because really Dwayne Wade's injury issues blew up when they separated shoulder. Shane Battier went to block the shot. He separated shoulder. And then after that, the follow-up was Shaq went to Phoenix, and they kind of broke up the team. If Dwayne doesn't separate his shoulder, and let's say somehow they don't re-up, LeBron comes to South Beach, then for 10 years, them dudes is competing for titles. They may not get out of the finals every year because they had to build pieces, and you don't know how healthy going to go.
At least 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. And
7 out of 10.
with the right pieces, Pat Riley would have got them boys together. They would have been running most of it. Yeah. You would never. I don't even know the big three would have got together because I feel like the balance of power would have been so competitive with Miami that everybody would try to stack things together in Chicago and Detroit because that's where things were kind of gravitating anyway. Chicago at that time, that was the end of the somebody help me, Ben Gordon. So that was the Ben Gordon, Kirk Heinrich era, but they were still a playoff team. And then you had, of course, what was in Detroit. Detroit was, and I'm sorry, Philly fans, I'm gonna have to do this. Detroit was in basketball what the Philadelphia Eagles were in football. They kept going to conference championships, so they finally got over the hump. Yeah. They kept going to conference championships and couldn't get out their own way. Yeah. Then they finally did. But I mean, basically, that's where your talent was in the East. Yeah. And then they kind of put together something, cobbled something together in New Jersey, right? So okay, but LeBron and D-Wade together in their prime.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, that's tough to beat.
That's tough.
Hey y'all, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna close the show out right here. But here's the lesson learned. All right, so to go back to this topic, in 2020, who marriage benefits? It should benefit both,
right?
And what you should do is get you a co-MVP.
That's it.
So you can actually win in the game.
That's it.
If you don't build right,
trophies,
you'll never win right.
Right.
But hey, we want to thank y'all for tuning in to the Experts About Nothing podcast, and we out.
All right, big dogs.